why you have to love fighting adversity. I know that maybe you can say that maybe, Emanuel, you're crazy. Why we have to love adversity? Why you have to love problems?
What is up, fellow Legacy Ninja? Scott Brandt, one half of the Legacy Digging podcast. Let me ask you a question. How often are you going to hunt down adversity and fight it and level up because of the fight that you put yourself into? Your journey is going to be full of adversity, but it's a matter of how you look at it. Are you going to go face up with it, chest it up, run it over, overcome it? Or are you going to allow that adversity in your life to overcome you and bring you down a level? On this episode, myself and Patrick, we had the pleasure of having a great conversation with Emanuel Enzo Abrefah. He talked about his journey coming up, being a professional soccer player, but what he dealt with growing up as a kid, the adversity that he had to overcome to where he's at now, today, leading other people to become mentally strong, to work on their spiritual game. But it's interesting, Emanuel brought up the fact that, are you embracing the fight against adversity? Are you going to hunt adversity and help yourself to level up to that next level? So Emanuel is all about digging that legacy to help other people go, stick it to the adversity, level up, and get to that next level. So hopefully after the episode, you sit down and look and say, okay, what adversity has been in my life that I can go and embrace? And what is that going to do by embracing it? And what is that going to allow me to do to level up to get to that next level that I want to get to? Am I going to look at adversity as a chance to level up? Or am I going to look at it as another opportunity to slow down and let life run me over? The choice is yours. So other than that, enjoy this episode and we'll catch you later, our fellow Legacy Ninja.
Welcome to another episode of Legacy Digging. Today we have Emanuel. He's a professional soccer player. We're super excited. Got a chance to find his story on IG. Emanuel, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a proper introduction, first, last name, and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you for this invitation. It is a very, very emotional thing I'm doing because I'm completely out from my comfort zone. So it's very, I'm very excited. As you said before, my name is Emanuel. I'm from Italy, but I am a Ghanaian born. My parents are from Ghana, Africa. And they came here, I think at the end of 80s. And I have one brother and two sisters. And we're living here near Venice. I don't know if you know Venice. Yeah, very beautiful, wonderful city. And since when I was young, my dream was to be a football player, professional soccer player. And I could make it. I worked hard and I could make it. So glory be to God that I could achieve my goal. Nothing. I want to tell you something about my story because I think my story can be an inspiration for others. So I wanted to tell something about me because of this. Because when I was young, I was listening to somebody's story and I would like to be like him. So I think that I could also do the same thing, right? As I told you, my parents came here from Africa, so it was not easy at all because they left their parents, their culture, their language, and they came here in Italy to do something for us, me and my brothers, So they came here and they worked a lot. And they gave us the opportunity to achieve our goals, to go through our dreams. So first of all, I want to say that if today I can say I'm a football player, it's because of them. So I want to thank them because is only because of them.
I love that, man.
Otherwise, maybe I don't know where we would have been. So,
Well, I definitely have some questions for that, but I totally appreciate your story so much. My wife actually came over to the United States from South Korea when she was 4 years old,
oh,
and my in-laws came over with $100 in their pocket. They were in their 40s. They had no idea what they were going to do, and they literally worked their butts off doing everything from janitorial to cleaning houses to cleaning toilets, to working every job that they could, to then basically going from like one apartment where 5 of them shared a bed to now owning a home, and then years later building a brand new home. So to live that dream and to see other people doing it, it's amazing, man. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. I mean, I'm just going to flat out ask this as I'm kind of fanboying here with you being here, Manuel. Like, what is it like to be in the moment right now of being in the middle of your career, being a soccer player, professional soccer player?
Okay, let me say, I have something to tell you here because I started playing football when I was young, like 4 or 5 years ago, 5 years old.
Yeah.
And it was something special for me. And it was hard because here in Italy, the soccer is a high level. You get me? So it's not so easy. Many teams, many players, and it's very hard to reach the top. So I can tell you that it was difficult. But at the end, as I told you before, I couldn't make it. And 2 years ago, I was about going to Germany to go, and I had a contract there. But after, for some things, I couldn't make it. So I decided to stay here in Italy another year and see what can go for me in my career here in Italy. And last year, I started the league. We started with like extraordinary performance. I was playing, I was scoring, and I'm a midfielder. So I was scoring. It's not so easy that the midfielder will score goals. So I was scoring, I was playing, and the team was going very well. We were the first position in the league. And there, like, for me, everything was fantastic, the best moment of my career. And the goal was to win our league and go forward. But on October, I can say the Lord decided to, let me say, he gave me the chance to change my life. Why I'm saying that? Because at the best moment of my career, I broke my leg. Yeah, I broke completely my leg. I broke my fibula, and I was operated. And at that time, I can tell you, brothers, that it wasn't easy. It was like the world was falling down for me, like a tragedy, because I am 30 years old now. I'm not so young. So the thing is that if you have injured like at the age of 20 or 25, it's something, but at the age of 30, it's different. So it was like something very bad for me. It was traumatic, very traumatic. But I remember that I was laying on my bed the same day that I broke my leg. I was laying on my bed. I was crying and crying and crying because the pain was so it was hurting, but it was a physical pain and also a spiritual pain. And at that moment, I told myself, okay, now what is done is done. So what are you going to do? Are you going to crying to yourself, and maybe by 3, 4, 5 years time, you're going to say, oh, maybe that time if I stood up or something like that? Or are you going to fight? Are you going to get up? The only two things that you can do are this one. Or you cry, or you stand up and fight for your life. Because at that moment, before I started also my project, that was the only thing that I was doing. So playing football. And imagine after this year, my contract will go to an end. So could you imagine? This is the word that is giving me food on my table. So why are you crying? I told myself, why are you crying? You have to go forward. We're talking about life. We're not joking. And if you cry, what would you say? Maybe tomorrow next, what would you say? So that time, I took that time like an opportunity to change my life, change myself, and change my life. For me, after that night, I saw that was not a tragedy, but God was giving me a way to change my life. And that happened.
I love it.
So I find it interesting because I know you had talked about growing up and hearing a story, and you want to have a story that you can share that can impact somebody else's life. Yeah. And so hearing this part of the journey that you're on right now, being a 30-year-old soccer player, having your leg broken, and you looked at it as an opportunity. Yeah. So when I listen and I hear that story, because I know part of what you're doing is motivational speaking. Yeah. And so with this potential situation where somebody could have really gone on a downward spiral, maybe became depressed and really had a tough time, when you look at that situation with having the broken leg and now what you're working on, where does this go in regards to the legacy that you want to create, the legacy that you want to leave? Because I tell people, ultimately, when you look at it, a legacy is a garden that you're planting that you'll never see in your lifetime because of the actions that you're taking. So for you, when you look at yourself, Emanuel, with every thing that you're taking place right now, what does that legacy look like for you? What is that for you?
Okay. What I want to leave to the people is the love of fighting. Why? Because when adversity comes to your life, okay, we see it like, oh, this adversity comes only onto me. Why always me? Or why? No, this is part of life. This is part of life. And we have to accept adversity. We have to accept problems. We have to accept obstacles. We have to accept it. And there is the main topic. When you love to fight the adversity, then you grow.
Yes, sir.
Get it? When you love, you have to love fighting adversity.
I love that.
I know that maybe you can say that maybe, Emanuel, you're crazy. Why we have to love adversity? Why you have to love problems? But it's true. There is where you are doing the step to your success. When you fight the adversity, when you go through problems, when you go through obstacles, when you go through, you have to hunt the problem. Sometimes you have to hunt the problem. Because imagine, like I told you before, I was playing, everything was doing well, and some other stuff. Maybe I would play football again for maybe 7, 8 years, but I would never be a motivational speaker. Never. As I told you before, this thing that I'm doing is out of my comfort zone.
Yes.
Completely out. But I don't care because this is what I want to do.
Love it.
Man, this is what I want to do.
I love the passion coming from you, Emanuel. And just to be respectful of your time and things like that, I want to move to the next segment here. Yeah. And again, you've kind of started talking about a little bit already, but your legacy, this is really what this podcast is. It's elevating, talking about kind of those steps, also maybe giving you that time to acknowledge where you've been, where you're going, right? So share with us, what steps are you taking? Where do you foresee your legacy going?
Okay. First of all, I started with, reading about stories that give my soul something. You get it? Like the stories that give something to my spirit. So I started reading books that way, and I started attending like seminaries, okay? And in those seminaries, I learned that when you want to achieve something, the first thing that you have to do is getting attitude, first of all. First of all, your attitude will determine if you are going to achieve your goals or not. Easy. And this is what I want to teach and leave to the people.
I like that.
Secondly, the thing that I see that many people mess up is that many people don't know why they're doing what they're doing. They don't know their why. So every time I teach about, you have to find your why, finding a why. Because if you don't know the reason why you're doing something, brother, you're not going nowhere. If today I'm doing this thing, I'm doing it for my mama, because at the age of 57 years, she's waking up every morning at 5 o'clock a.m., going out there, do the cleaning in the subway with sun, with running, with snow, with hot and cold. And I want her to stop because she's my queen and she has to stop that. And that's my why. So if you have a why, you know where you're going. You know where you're going. And this is what I want to leave. You have to live here the life on the earth with having a reason for what you're doing. You have to get your why, your reason for what you are doing. Les Brown, every time he says something that I love so much. He says, living on the earth, okay, living on the earth, you have to pay the price for living on the earth. And you know how you are going to pay the price? Giving. If you give, that's the price that we have to pay, giving to the people. We have to give. And that's the price. And this is what I want to leave to the people, because it's so much important for me. So much important, because sometimes we are caring about things that don't have importance. We don't care about. But these are the things that are very important. Having a why, fighting for a reason, go through anything. And as I say always, we are human beings and we were created by the image and the likeness of God. Bro, if we are created by the image and the likeness of God, God can do everything. So we also can do everything we want. We can do everything we want.
Man, you're awesome, man. And honestly, like, you want to come sit in my chair because you're literally doing my job for me, bro. I know you said that you were out of your comfort zone, but you're dropping so many mics right now. And honestly, man, it feels so natural that you should be doing this yourself.
Yep. Well, and I know for this, it's an audio podcast, but if people really could see just the energy that you're exuding within your body language and just how you're tapping into this, it's huge, because you've talked about going and hunting the struggles, going and facing the struggles and overcoming those struggles. I tell people a lot of times they have this trouble spot that if a struggle comes up, they'll go push on it just a little bit. And then if it doesn't move, they're like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to try to figure out a way to get around. And I'm like, you can't do that, because ultimately that's where that growth comes into play. That's where that progression is going to come into play. Yeah. And I think just how powerful your story is with your vision and with what you want to do, because you talked about your mom, and that's a powerful thing, that your mom's part of that why, and you don't want to see her having to go and take on the hard labor. You want to make sure you can take care of her. And your passion and that message and the lives that you'll impact, that will take place. And I think that's going to be a huge thing. And I'm excited to hear that come to fruition coming from you and be like, man, this just happened. And when we get that message, I'll be like, yep, we saw it, we heard it, and we saw it with the body language. And I'm just grateful ultimately, just because it does give a different perspective. And
Yes.
that's the thing. Like, we could say a thing 7-8 times and somebody hears it 7 or 8 times, and then hearing it from somebody else, it's going to click differently. And so that's the beautiful thing with having the perspective and having how people look at things differently is a huge thing by having the ability to have this podcast and bring others on and allow them to share their perspective. And it's a beautiful thing, just because the life that you've grown up through and the journey that you're on is huge. Because, like, for myself, I experienced I had a broken left leg. And so it's a unique thing, but that was also the age of 17 when I did that.
Oh.
But it's one of those commonalities sometimes that you'll hardly meet somebody, and then things are just very unique in regards to things, how they line up and come up to the forefront.
Yeah, and what I love here, because I've taken some notes here, some of the things that you said. First of all, I love the what you said about getting an attitude, right? Because it reminds me so much of some of those things that other people talk about for, like, finances, right? You have to get really mad about your debt to be able to take action. So the same thing, the fact that you're taking that head on for life, that says you have to get an attitude about it. I love that, man. Understanding your why. That's something we talk about all the time. That's super important. That is really kind of the stepping stone. It's that line in the sand that you draw that you never want to cross, right? And if all the decisions you make, it goes back to that why. And if it makes sense and it ties back to the why, then you can justify moving forward. If it doesn't, then at least you go back to the drawing board. So I love that. Obviously, you're talking about one of everybody's favorite person, Les Brown, quoting him. So I see the trajectory that you're on, man. I'm super excited to be part of your journey and watch this growth as you go through that. And what's really cool is that we've been podcasting for a while, right? And to have people come on, and it's like we just never know what value we're going to get. We know we're going to get something, but man, every time that people come on here, they just it's these, what we call huge ear nuggets for people. And so already we're halfway through, but you've already kind of shown us so much passion, so much, all this stuff, man. And so I'm from here, we're huge fans, and we're going to be able to cheerlead and support you in whatever you ask us to do, man. We'll be there. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So let's go into this other portion here, because I think that everybody already kind of has an idea as the trajectory of the legacy that you want to leave. But let's talk about some of these things in real time. What are some of the things that you think that maybe you haven't shared, or maybe just some thoughts and ideas that maybe other people can explore, or maybe that you've tapped into and that you're kind of working through right now? What are some of those things? And we call this piece basically theory crafting. And the idea is that if somebody listens to this and they're like, man, my man Manuel is talking about these things, I need to tap into that, So whatever it is, what are some of those things that's going on with you that maybe other people can maybe start exploring or getting into?
Okay. I think that every time that we want to do something, especially when I see my friends, okay, like, let me say my teammates, okay, we all on the field playing football, but that we are human beings, that we are body, flesh, and spirit. And many people in the world don't think about the spirit. As we are talking here, okay? You said, okay, you were emotional. I saw the passion that you get. All these emotions are not flesh. We're talking about spiritually. Like, we are getting in contact in spiritual realm. And I saw that everything that you have to do, everything in everywhere, okay, you have to go, let me say, go all in. And when we say you go all in with your spirit. You go all in with your spirit. Could you imagine, maybe tomorrow I will go and play a match, football match. Okay, like, my body is ready to fight, to run, to do everything. But if my spirit, my soul is not ready, is not prepared to that, I'm going to mess the game. Get it?
Yeah.
So this is very important, that everything that you are going to do in every situation, you have to go in with your spirit. There is where the emotion is going, it's coming out. And when you go with your spirit, you can't mess up. It's impossible. It's impossible. Because the spirit is more stronger than the body, than the flesh. It's more important than the body. And because everything that we do, even when we are talking and you look in my eyes, you can see if I am a good person or a bad person, if I'm somebody that like people or don't like people, likes people. All this situation that I'm looking into your eyes. You are looking into my spirit and I'm looking into your spirit. That's the reason why you see if I am a good person or a bad person. That's the reason why you see if I am hunting and I want to achieve my goal, to achieve my dream with all of me or not. There is the difference. Because some people out there, they say, okay, well, I want to achieve that goal. I want to be a singer. I want to be a business owner. But they don't want it in the spirit. They don't want it in the spirit. Because when you want it in the spirit, you commit yourself totally in what you are doing. It's simple. But when you're not committing, it's because your spirit is not there. And that there is where I saw that many people are finding like some problems. Because as Scott said before, when they go through adversity and problems and the other stuff, they say, okay, I'm done because no, this is not for me. I cannot do this one. I cannot do this. It's because they are not committed. And the first thing that when I started doing this, like the motivational coach or motivational speaker, I commit me, Emanuel, to myself, to my spirit. And I said, from today, this is what God has given to you. Commit yourself with yourself. It can be crazy what I'm saying, I'm telling you now. But you have to commit yourself with yourself.
I love it.
There, you're going everywhere. You're going to achieve your goal 100%. Because your body is with your spirit. You are one and you are going through. You're going through.
Let's go. Emanuel, man. Just dropping the mics again, bro. I love it, dude. Thank you so much. I think that what I love like about this, right, is you're right. Not enough people are talking about that spiritual side, right? And, you know, for Scott and I think that's something where we're starting to experience and find a lot more people who are tapping into that from the coaching realm and the coaching perspective, right? Because you find people who are life coaches and business coaches, but we're now starting to see so many spiritual coaches pop up to walk through this as well. And so I love the fact that that's the trajectory that you're on and the things that you're talking about. I love what you said here, and that probably needs to be a quote somewhere, but it's impossible to mess up when you go with your spirit, right? I fully believe that you can make that a hashtag or a tagline to go with you as you're moving forward. It's very powerful. I'm already on it, man. So thank you so much for that. Scott, what are your thoughts in regards to that?
I think it's one of those powerful pieces, really, where people don't fully understand that connection piece. And like Emanuel had brought up, the fact that if you're not fully committed with your spiritual piece, with that spirit inside of you, like you're not going to connect and you're not going to resonate. You're not going to go and do what you're meant to do. And so it's one of those very unique things in regards to how Emanuel brings this up and showcases it and shows it from a different light. And I think it's one of those things, like Patrick, you had shared, a lot of people are missing out on that mark. And with what Emanuel's trying to accomplish, it's one of those key pieces, I would think, that he's trying to help people in regards to tapping into that piece of who they are as an individual. Yeah.
And Emanuel, I think what's really cool is that even where you're at now, you have not only a great spirit about you, but you also have a great humility and a humbleness that you bring to the table and element as well, which I think what a lot of people in your profession, right, they don't have that about them. So I'm really humbled by your spirit and your humility today. You know, the last piece of the segment here before we get into the pod decks is something that has been really helped me along my journey. And so I don't know if Scott had got a chance to kind of share, but for me, I went from basically depression and suicide to entrepreneur business owner, right? And to be able to realize that I had all the skill sets within me, they were all untapped and unlocked. And so to be able to kind of learn and to go from all of those things, turn into selling $1 million in sales on Facebook, becoming a 6-figure earner here within less than 2 years, and all these things that I didn't think were possible. So for me, a big portion of that has been working in collaboration and also in thankfulness. And so every week I journal out all the things that I'm thankful for. Definitely, this is a great way to start off my week having you on here. But, as you go through maybe your own personal journey, maybe you just did your things earlier today, maybe you did them last week, who knows how long that looks like. But for you, obviously you acknowledge your mom, but is there anybody else that maybe you haven't had a chance to maybe publicly or give a true thanks to that you would hope that maybe they would see this and anybody else that you would want to acknowledge at this time?
First of all, I must, and I repeat, I must thank God for what He have made me today. Because as I told you before, He gave me the chance to change my life.
Yes.
So first of all, I want to thank God. Secondly, I want to thank my family because in all things, they were with me. As I told you before, it wasn't easy. My father was not here. He went back to Africa to see if he could make it. For us, he was there for like 3 or 4 years without having money, no salary. And here we were with my mommy, and the salary was very bad. We were 5 in a room, and it was so hard. It was so hard. And so I want to thank them because they didn't left us. They were always with us. And if today I'm this person, is also because of them. So my family support me really. And after I want to thank my staff because if it was not for them, maybe I could not create my academy. Because today I have a motivational academy, and it is the first motivational academy in Italy. I'm the first person, creating a motivational academy in Italy. So I want to thank them because they are working so hard for me. As I told you, I'm a football player, so training, matches, and other stuff. So I cannot always be there with them, but they support me. They work very hard for me. So I want to thank them for what they're doing because this academy, I launched the academy on April. Okay. And very recently. And today I had to close the registration because it was full. Many people attend, and very I enjoyed the moment because it was out of my imagination. Like the first time, the first launch, like I thought that nobody would attend my course, and it's very, very amazing. And it's because of the work that my staff is doing. So I want to thank them.
Congratulations on that, man. That's awesome. For those who are listening right now, where are the best ways to either connect with you or to get information on the academy, things like that?
Okay. You can go on my Instagram handle, Emanuel Enzo Abrefah, and also in my Facebook, also there, the same name, Emanuel Enzo Abrefah. And you can chat directly with me, or I will send you to one of my men on the staff, and they will tell you everything about. Also have an email that it is eaeacademy.word.com. Okay, and you can also go there and have every information that you want. Nothing. That is.
Awesome. And we'll make sure that we post them up in the show notes as well, so everybody has access to that with simple clicks as well. The next portion portion is something that we've actually adopted from another podcaster by the name of Travis Brown. It's a really fun segment. He's actually created something that we call pod decks. And it's all of these different decks of random questions, things that are kind of off the cuff. It kind of catches some people off guard a little bit. So our goal is not to necessarily set you up, but just fair warning, they are kind of sometimes out there. But it's a lot of fun just to kind of get to know you on a different level, Emanuel. And so Scott, I think that you probably have some already ready to go. And then what we'll do is, Emanuel, you'll answer first, and then Scott and I will go after you to respond, okay?
Okay.
All right.
So the first one comes from the Hustle deck, and it is, what is the smartest investment you've ever made?
Okay, the smartest investment is on Bitcoin. I invested on Bitcoin like 4 years ago.
Okay.
And it was something really, I was scary. I must tell you the truth. I was scary, but I saw that the world was going on that way. So I made that kind of investment.
Love it. So, yeah, that would have been a great time for sure. How about you, Scott?
Smartest investment, really just getting into the world of personal development and working on my mindset, working on my internal piece when it comes to my subconscious piece on how I see myself. Really, it's led us to where we're at now. And so that's always the smartest investment, is investing back into yourself.
Yeah, and for me, I would have to echo that, but I don't want to try to steal your thunder. So I would say basically personal investment into me, taking that time to put myself onto platforms and try different things, and also spending that time to really understand myself in terms of what am I capable of, what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, right? Where do I have areas of opportunity? By understanding a lot of those things, that allowed me to really propel myself to stretch, right, for personal growth. It also allowed me to be basically be in the areas where I'm like, yeah, you don't want to touch that because you suck at that, right? And to be able to acknowledge that is a strength, to be able to basically say, you know what, I should delegate that, or I should find somebody else to cover that, at least in the meantime. I can learn about that later on, but to really focus on my strengths at this point in time.
The next one that we have is still from the Hustle deck. It is, what motivates you?
What motivates me? That's a great question. As I told you before, my why, my reason. And that is what moves me in the morning. Every time I talk to my friends, because every time my friends see me, they say, "Oh, why you always like this? You're always happy. You always want to grind." And every time we see you doing many things, and every time I told them that you don't have something that moves you. You don't have something that moves you, because when you wake up in the morning, you're going to work, and you're going to work with like you don't want to go, and then you're telling me that the salary is like that, and the people are right there, and the this and that. So you don't want to go to work. That's not your work, because I think that God has made us to let me say, to take our gift and create with our gift. And when you create with your gift, then you're moved by. So I took my mommy as a motivation, and that made my gift come out. Get it? So my gift came out, and now I'm doing what I want, and this is what motivates me. My work motivates me. Speaking with people motivates me. My academy motivates me. Helping footballers, because I have many football players and basketball players that are coming to me doing one-on-one. That thing motivates me.
Love it.
For me, ultimately, it is the piece that every day we wake up, it's not about our life, it's about the lives that we can impact and touch. And it's how can we go talk to somebody and find out what their dreams are? How can we help them achieve those dreams? Who do we know through our connections and through our network that we've developed that we can get them in contact with that will help extend to get to that dream that they have inside of them, that vision that they have inside of them. So that's what motivates me, is just the ability to sit down and talk to people and really have the conversation. Hey, what do you dream about? And who do I know that I could potentially get you in contact with that will help you out with reaching that dream?
Nice.
You know, I think motivation is something that, again, let's go back to what Emanuel talked about with the spirit piece, right? And I think that for me, being able to show up in different capacities. Being able to turn around and kind of be led by the Spirit to say, you know what, for some reason I need to talk to this person, right? And so yesterday I had an opportunity to speak meeting with a lady who she's a really great coach in terms of life coaching, but she's really stuck. And for me to sit there and just listen to her journey, listen to her story, and literally just give a few pointers that says, look, you have all the intangibles, you have everything, you're just getting in the way of yourself, right? And again, you know, it was a free consultation just because I wanted to help. But to be able to turn around and just say, look, I'm making a difference on my terms. I now am in abundance where I can help other people. I now know what I bring to the table. And so that motivation of just like, who else can I help? Who else can I give to, right? Yeah. To me, that's the most motivating thing in the world. That's the thing that like I want to do full time. And it, man, you know, and it's not just about giving them certain things of tangibility, but it's also giving them the tools to be able to allow them to see that growth through themselves as well. And so I know we pretty much all had the same exact answer in a different way, but man, like, you know, there's this saying that when I was in the poetry scene that you used to always say that like good people stick together and good people find each other. So
yeah, it's true. It's true.
All right. We got one more question. This comes from the philosophy deck. This is very unique that this comes in this deck. So if you had to describe yourself as a flavor, what would it be?
Oh, let me see. As a flavor. Okay, let me say chocolate. Get it?
Yeah.
Chocolate.
Perfect.
Like chocolate. Perfect.
Yep.
Like chocolate.
There you go.
Very sweet. And no, I think that
all the ladies love it.
All the ladies love it. That's true. No, I think that I'm a kind of person that every time when I meet people, I want to leave something to them. You get it? Like I want to share something with them because I can teach something, but I also like to receive something. Get it? And when you teach and you receive, you have that kind of conversation, you can grow. You grow every day, every time. So I think that I am the kind of person that you would like to be in contact with. You get it? Be in touch with. Yeah. So
I like it.
Love it. For myself, I'm one that speaks out and tells people that you either love me or hate me. There's no in between. So I don't make that judgment. You get to decide what flavor I am. Yeah, but it's a surprise for you. So that's up to you on how you view the world and how you see it. So I just show up and be myself.
So to some people, you might be a Twizzler, and to others, you might be a black licorice.
Could be.
You know, for me, and it's really interesting because I've been on kind of this kick lately of having strawberry flavors in like my teas or drinks or whatever. And so I kind of think back on it and I'm like, I'm a product of hard work, right? Strawberries have roots and they come from the ground, right? But they're so versatile, right? Some people just like them as they are. Some people kind of like me as I am sometimes, right? Some people, they got to throw a little sugar on me before they can eat me, and some people just want to cut me up and throw me and have bits and pieces of me into other things, and I'm okay with all of it. So I think a strawberry flavor is kind of how I would describe myself.
Yeah.
Love it. Nah, I appreciate that, Emanuel. Appreciate jumping in. Like we said, these questions, sometimes you just never know. Yes. But it does give a different perspective that people may never even consider. So
It's true.
Man, this has been such a great time spent with you. I feel like that we could definitely spend more time with you, and if you'd love to, please reach out anytime. Well, I'm definitely gonna interested to kind of learn more about your academy, so I'll reach out to you, kind of get some of the links and stuff like that. Also, that allows us to be better promoters for you to understand what you're doing. So,
Thank you.
yeah, I mean, any closing thoughts from you, either in regards to your time here spent today or anything else?
I must tell you that it was something special. As I told you before, I was out from my comfort zone, but you make me feel like at home. So thank you very much. I really appreciate, and I hope we can see ourselves maybe in the next year, this year or next year, by 1 year time, because I spent a very good time with you, and I thank you very much. I appreciate, and I hope to see you and hear from you very, 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 very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll also make sure that we go and do that live to basically help promote this episode as well. So we'll be in touch for sure. But thank you again.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much.
Have a good one.